Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel or welcome back to an energy forecast with me. My name is Natalie and I call myself the esoteric practitioner because I have dedicated the past, 30 some years to self-study, to developing intuitive abilities, innate intuitive abilities, and also getting into the books and understanding this. So rather than making the focus about me per se, I like to highlight the study that I focused on, which is esotericism and mysticism, if you will, just going inward and really understanding our connection to the all and everything. And so that's why I call myself the esoteric practitioner, to kind of take it off of me and focus on the study. So in this video, we're going to look at the last month of 2024. If you're new to me, just a little bit of an introduction. My practice is a spiritual holistic practice as well, where I do one-on-one, even group coaching, where we dive into self-development, self-understanding, energetics that are coming through, and then also, a lot of my practice is just guiding individuals through their own potential mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual development. So it might behoove you to go backward in time, if you will, if you're new to me, to find out maybe what month you might resonate with in the moment. Some of you might be ahead of me, have experienced a lot of this energy, while others might be, and I mentioned it in many of my videos, where we pass the baton. So I feel the need to say that if you are new to me, you might want to go back to my February forecast, and look at, and I do apologize for the February forecast because I was having a lot of technical issues, so there's like a weird noise, but it's the content that I want you all to focus on whenever I've done these forecasts, because it assists you in understanding what you might be witnessing in the world, what you might be exploring mentally, emotionally, all of that. So if you're with me in December, we're going to look at that month and let's see what comes up for you all, and for me as well, because I'm in this with you. So let's get into it. December is an interesting feeling because, I don't know if you've experienced it, but in December, I know that those who I've had conversations with, and even myself personally, my experience is wanting to sleep in more and being in tune with nature's, rhythms. And when it gets, when the sun is sleeping still, we too want to sleep. We don't want to wake up until the sun comes up, and that's just our natural rhythm. So December is very supportive of that, as it should be, right? It's also a time of what I wrote down was a self-educational time. It's supportive in just looking at how to move forward. Now, you might be part of the cohort that is aligned in the consciousness of, how do I move forward? There's all these things that I want to do, feeling defeated because I don't know where to begin type of feeling. I don't know how to do this. I don't know the cadence, the flow, where. I'm getting all these ways to move and go, but the how hasn't shown up. How is this going to occur? What can I do? I feel this big need to keep going forward, and yet I don't know my place and my footing. So another thing that came in to understand December is a great time to ask yourself, what are you creating in this moment? Remembering what we've created, but what are we creating in this moment? Start assessing. Can you do enough self-reflection to look at, if I'm not truly fulfilled in my experience, whether that's in work, in relationships, and I'm not condoning, or I'm not saying quit your job, leave your spouse. I'm not saying, the fight or flight and go take off and go run away from this stuff. Not at all. I want to make that very clear. What I'm saying is assess if this flows with what you want your reality to be. Now, some people can say, well, how can we change that? If, this, and this. Well, there one is a lot of fear in the collective. There's a lot of fear in the collective. And I'm not saying overcoming fear is easy, so I'm going to make that very clear as well. But December is a beautiful opportunity to see how your mind has been designed or has been programmed into thinking that this is the reality that I want to experience. The white picket fence, the job, all of that. Is this where I'm at? Does this feel right? Okay? And part of the confusion that we're experiencing of how do I move forward, so on and so forth, comes from, and I'm going to get into astrology. Now, I'm not a dedicated astrologer, so I want to make that very clear. I'm not a dedicated astrologer. I am somebody who utilizes astrology as a tool to help not only navigate myself, but how to get individuals to understand the complexities of their experience. If you want precision when it comes to astrology, you're going to have to look for another astrologer, as I look at the story and how your mind might be associating or identifying in certain energies that are very simplistic. I don't get into serious complexities of astrology. So going back to what I was saying, when we look at what's happening as above, that's experience, that's impacting us below, we want to consider Neptune. Neptune is in Pisces, and that can create a lot of psychic energy. So for the generation that was born with Neptune in Pisces, we want to be mindful that they have an ability that needs education to understand what they might be experiencing in the subtle worlds. So you're welcome to reach out to me for those who have children or adolescents, that generation that has Neptune in Pisces, for some questions and some insight. But in any case, Neptune in Pisces, right at the end of the zodiac, is kind of getting us to think all of the possibilities, every single possibility that we might have fragmented ourselves and stretched ourselves into all these possibilities. And it's created confusion because it's like, where do I go from here? Which avenue do I want to take? How do I do this? Well, beautifully, in time, Neptune is moving out of all of the possibility, and it's moving into initiation, get things going, innovation, take charge. I have a focus. I have a way forward. So right now, December, and really December January, February starts to allow us, not starts to, it provides a beautiful opportunity, like I was saying, to assess, is this how I want to do things? I don't need the answers yet. Even though our logical brain that wants to protect us says, yes, I want it now. I need to know the way forward now. Those energies don't support that right now. Right now we're creating. We're assessing. Okay, let's move this out because that didn't work. Let's move that out because that didn't work. Let's stay here because this is going well. Let's stay here because this is going well. Now, I still want to do this, but maybe it's not the right time. That's what December is helping us with, okay? It's time to recreate the dream. And I've mentioned in, I believe it was March, in my forecast, I talked about row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. How that is a very esoteric child, rhyme, whatever. Row, row, row your boat. So rowing our own boat down the stream of consciousness, merrily, merrily, so we can do this happily. Because when we have this self-awareness that we're doing this for ourselves, life can be but a dream. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not going to meet rapids and we're not going to have challenge. And that's something to consider. Now, in March, I explained that we're doing this together. And yes, in 5D consciousness, we are creating the dream together, which is very supportive of where we're going next, right? So astrologers will also talk about how Pluto moved out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. So we have a few energies that we are understanding, that we've understood in the past, which is earth energy, which is where Pluto in Capricorn for 20 years, we had supportive energy to ground. The collective was easily in like dense energy. And then we had Uranus. We have Uranus in Taurus, which is more earth. But that stirs up stuff because we want to create the new. Uranus is Aquarian energy, so Pluto going into Aquarius. So we have these things that are working in our favor. But we have to be able to step out of the self to understand the bigger picture. And in that bigger picture, Pluto into Aquarius is we're going out of dense energy. Going out of dense energy. We're going out of how things could have worked for the collective. That's where Uranus and Taurus helps too, because that is earth energy as well. But Uranus in Taurus helps with like, hey, we gotta change this up. This isn't good anymore. So it's shaking things up. Earth energy is like, we gotta bring in the new earth. And so Pluto going into Aquarius goes from density to frequency. So for some of you, I'm just checking in with you all. Maybe you can put in the comments. Sometimes I turn off comments, sometimes I put it on. So if I have it turned on, I'm going to assess, because I do things very intuitively. So in the comments, what did you notice around November 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and even to now? Because I'm recording this on the 30th. You might have noticed a shift in frequency or in energy or in how your life source felt, because we came out of density and into frequency, into electronics or into electricity. Okay? And I kind of said that weird, but you get what I'm saying. So we're birthing the new, and luckily we have some earth energies that are supporting us, okay? But December is really that opportunity to go inward. Now, again, talking about why we're kind of in this confusion state is because of Neptune. But once it goes into Aries, which is in 25, we're going to be able to see our path ahead or see how we want to create in the moment. That's what we have to be focusing also on right now, is what are we creating now? So it's come in for me many times that, I'm sorry, I'm moving some of my paper to kind of stay on topic. I've been labeled as a psychic. I've been labeled as a medium. I've been labeled as, in human design as a projector. All of these labels can help our brains to understand what I do. But what has come through very profoundly over the course of this year is that we're here to guide. Now, for those of you who are human design, inclined or savvy, of course, like that's the projector, here to guide you, right? And I take a deep breath with that, because when somebody has the label of psychic, when somebody has the label of medium, because all mediums are psychic, there's an expectation with looking towards the future. And what I've received time and time again in this past, I want to say, month for fully embodiment of it, is the future is now. The future is now. Sure, we can look ahead. Sure. But then that encourages the mind to run amok. Because as some of you have experienced, we want to do multiple things because we have all these ideas. So when we come into this state of looking towards the future, and let me talk about future, not future planning of like, okay, I have this, so I want to do like A, B, and C. Like, that's good. But when I'm saying like, what does my future look like? We don't know. And that's why I explain to people is that the future is a potential. What I see is potential. I see potential dependent on your level of self-awareness, your level of how you think, act, and behave in scenarios. You can change the ripple effect. So when I do these forecasts, today it felt very deep with me to say, what's the purpose of looking into the future? And I keep getting from my higher self is, well, we're not doing that anymore. We're focusing right now, right now, right now. What are we creating in this space? When you're watching this, what are you creating? Are you peaceful? Are you calm? Are you upset because I'm saying that and you want the answers? Does that trigger the 88% of our thinking, the emotional mind, to say, I don't want to listen to this anymore because she's not giving me what I want? You're the creator. You create what you want. I don't get to. When you work with me one-on-one, I see potential. But it's all potential because you have an opportunity to change the trajectory. And that's the beauty of this experience, is that you're constantly creating in every moment. And I feel that now more than ever. And so instead of triggering defense mechanisms of the illusion, that's what Neptune creates, is the illusion of collective control. Create in this moment, create with the self. And that's Neptune in Aries. It's create with the self. What do I want to create for Pluto in Aquarius, for the collective, the people? So I want you to sit with that and just kind of think about, what does that mean to me? Where do you feel that in the body, and what does that mean to me? What I see is people moving in a direction where they're going to have the opportunity to practice what they preach. Are you preaching that you are here to help people, to be of service, to not look so much at the self? And that's what sometimes, in the old paradigm, I should say, or the old ways of thinking, is that spirituality is focus on self. Build yourself up. Now, my understanding from Taurus is there's multiple ways to explain Taurus. But the beauty of Uranus in Taurus, from what I'm experiencing, is that it's telling us that this way of just being about what we want, in a sense, now I'm going to kind of contradict myself, but stay with me, is that if we focus too much about me, right, which is what we're taught, in a sense of like in the self-help industry type of thing, it's put your mask on, like in the flight attendants, they tell you to put the mask on to help yourself and then help your fellow mate or whatever. Here's the beautiful part. Uranus and Taurus was helping us to get right with ourselves, to build ourselves up for, that new, like that zing of like, okay, you got to take care of yourself right now. And so Capricorn was helping with that in a little bit. But now we're getting the awakenings of like, maybe that's not the full way. So with Pluto going into Aquarius, or now it's in Aquarius, it's, okay, your mask is on. Are you ready to create the new worth and give the masks and help your fellow mate out? To help your fellow people? We're done with the self. What am I creating in this moment? And how am I practicing my values? Am I practicing what I preach? Or am I contradicting that? So Neptune in Aries is saying, how can I create in this moment my story, my timeline, right? And then Pluto helps with, but how am I going to also help others? So I put on the mask. I'm breathing. I'm good. I've got this. And now I can help others. So that's what December is giving an opportunity to kind of go inward and just say, maybe how I've been acting isn't in alignment with my true dream, my white picket fence type of thing. So now it goes into an even more beautiful thing about December, and I'm sorry I've done too many crinkles, but December also helps with the word rest, the acronym R.E.S.T type of thing, where R is for release all of the year's outcomes, all of the year's expectations, future expectations. We're done. We're releasing it. We're going to go into rest. Past experiences, future expectations, future outcomes, all of that. Detach from all of that. Release. Cut it off. And we're going to emerge from the collective thinking. We're going to come into self. So release, emerge, self. We're going to go in, clip out all of those timelines, all of those ideas, and come into oneness so that we can rest, recuperate. That's what the time of that year, at least in the upper hemisphere of the world type of thing, is. It's the time of rest. It's winter. We're supposed to rejuvenate. At least in the States, we're supposed to be rejuvenating. So perhaps moving forward, we have the opportunities to look at, are we doing right by the people? Maybe in the work field, you might see innovation in all areas. And I'm curious, for those of you that watched my March, episode or forecast is, how are the energies, what direction has it pulled you? Some might be more getting like going towards science, technology, others the health industry, spiritual stuff, entertainment. Where all the change is going to go, where are you guiding? Did your focus in life shift? Is your true purpose coming online and saying, okay, you know what, that wasn't good, and now I'm going into my channel? I talked about it in March, and so did I come out into the right area? And I would like to say that the universe has supported that canoe going on those channels into the right areas for everybody to bring about the greatest change. You can go to my website where I talk about the Great Awakening. I wrote about that, I believe in 21, and how we're all going to be recognizing that there was a veil just continuing to lift. So we'll see how that comes to fruition. But I want to leave this all with you. It's getting dark, so my lighting is going away, except for this bright thing right here. But I wish you all the best in December, that you really take honor of the self and rest and rejuvenate, and just understand that things will start to come together. They will in time. But we get so impatient, especially those who have a lot of fire energy in them. We want to just we want it now. We've been programmed to want it now. But now is the time to assess, rewrite our story. To rewrite our story. So I'm going to be done shaking this, and have a good December. I hope you hibernate and take care of yourself. Bye for now.